Well, the next speaker is, well, assuming, all right, it doesn't appear that the Credentials Committee is back in the room, so we still have time. Let's try another speech for now 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and let's not try to make that longer for the next person if possible. Tony DeTora.
I'm Tony DeTora, and I'm a candidate for the United States Senate. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My day job is up in Washington, D.C. Please don't hold that against me. I serve as a senior policy advisor to Congressman Dana Rohrabacher from California. Sure, you can applaud for Dana all day long. He was a special assistant and speechwriter for President Reagan before he left the White House to run for Congress on his own. I advised him on a wide range of policy issues. Prior to doing that, I worked as a fundraiser for congressional campaigns here in Virginia. During part of that time, I was the top Republican House fundraiser in the country. Before doing that, I managed businesses, I managed nonprofits, I've served on the boards of other nonprofits, I served on the board of trustees of one of the largest private universities in the nation, and I volunteered for the American Red Cross in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. My wife and I live up in Stafford County, just outside Fredericksburg, with our 2-year-old daughter. And when I look at her, I know that there's no better place to raise her than right here in the United States of America. But I'm concerned. The path that we're on, when she's old enough to raise her own family, I'm concerned that that might not still be true. And so I have to do everything I can, everything I can think of. Any idea I can get my hands on, I need to try to implement it, to make sure that it's still true. To make sure that she can raise her family in peace and prosperity, right here in America, secure the blessings of liberty. And that's what we all want. That's what we all want. That's what our founding fathers want. That's why we're here today instead of outside on this beautiful day. And I applaud all of you for being here and taking part in this process, because that's how things change. So how do we change things up in Washington? How do we do that? We send in people to Washington who share our values, who have spines of steel, and who want to spin the authority that the federal government has been collecting for more than 2 centuries. People who want to spin that back to the state, and back to the people where that authority belongs. One person can't do it on their own. And it's not a short process. It's going to take years, if not generations, to get that done. But it has to stop. As I said, I work up in Washington, D.C., so I see the policy, but I also see the politics, the games, the nonsense, the shenanigans. And when you go up to Washington, we send good people to Washington, and they get caught up in the muck. They get caught up in that mire. And they try to do something, and oh, wait, you didn't do it right. You didn't submit this by the deadline. We're going to introduce a 300-page amendment 12 hours before you have to vote on it. If I am your senator, I will make sure that the United States Senate gives us enough time to read the bills, or reads that bill on the floor. Yeah. That is a procedural thing that experience has shown that we can do, that a single senator can do. From a policy standpoint, it becomes more challenging. You need more people to agree with you, that the authority needs to get spun back rather than concentrated. I believe that for people to be free, power needs to be distributed. It needs to be checked, and it needs to be balanced. And right now, we have an unchecked concentration of power in Washington and an unbalanced nation. Our bureaucracy is killing our veterans. We have a war on coal, the cheapest power source that we have ever seen. What are we doing up there? It's nonsense. It has to stop. The way to stop it is to send people like me, people like you, to Washington and stand firm. and to remind your representatives that they need to stand firm. Remind them what their values are. And if they still don't listen to you, if they go back on that, to get rid of them. Now, we heard earlier that Mark Warner had only shown up for 55% of the votes, so he's done half the job for us. But come November, we have to do the other half of the job, and we have to get him out of office. 30 seconds. Is that my additional 45 seconds? I agree with Ed. We need to come out of that convention together, supporting whoever our nominee is. So I ask for your vote in Roanoke, Tony DeTora for U.S. Senate. You can see my website, TonyDeTora.com. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be around afterwards. Thank you very much for your time.